Yeah, what's going on, everybody? It's Coach Jan here, and we are doing Tai Chi World Cup. It's one of our last sessions training with Ilona, Ilona Bito, James McConnell of the U.S. Tai Chi Push Hands team. Got special guest today, my father, four-time Tai Chi World Cup champion in push hands. He's in the back over there and doing some Tai Chi form. So this is going to be great. We're going to go over moving step push hands top five. If you are competing in any martial experience, martial tournament, etc. But especially in Tai Chi push hands, you are focusing on walking into your competition with your top five moves always. You want to have five moves that you can get to no matter, from multiple angles. And you pick those moves, you drill those moves, you find strategies for those moves to get back to those moves. And these are direct moves. At last, if you saw our stream yesterday, or watched the replay, you saw that we were talking about the difference between direct movements or direct techniques and indirect. Indirect meaning that they come in the evolution of a scramble or a movement, etc., especially in Tai Chi, where I'm quoting Trevor Cohen, one of the former U.S. Tai Chi push hands team members. He had wonderfully said previously that Tai Chi happens in the evolution of a technique rather than is a direct during a direct technique. So I think what he meant by that is that if you're playing against a judo player or you're playing against somebody else who's going for a specific technique, the Tai Chi happens, or the indirect technique, as we're defining it with more clarity, happens in between that person, your opponent, having the desire to go for the technique and the execution. So your disruption of their desire happens, and that's called an indirect technique. So that happens in between point A and point B for them. But direct techniques do exist in Tai Chi, and that is what we're training today. Top five for Tai Chi push hands, moving step, which is more like Greco-Roman wrestling or sumo wrestling. And you push someone out of the ring or throw them on the floor. So if you're on TikTok, I'm just going to push this camera toward this screen so we can see Ilona and James. Ilona is going to be the focus of today's session, given her competition in moving step. James will be competing in fixed step, and if we have time today, we'll go over some of that stuff too. So today we were going to go over emphasize, since this is your last 2 weeks of training before the tournament, emphasizing beauty in the end posture. And this is for multiple reasons, but also because of just wanting to make sure that the referees see that you clearly got the point. And so that you don't, once you execute your move, whatever that is, you hold that posture just slightly for a moment to make sure that you're grounded, so that the opponent doesn't grab you and try to pull you off at the end of that movement. And of course, you use your discretion here, because some opponents that are like super grabby, you may want to just get your hands or your body away from them after you do the move. So take this with a grain of salt. But at the end of the day, in your Tai Chi form, feeling beauty in that whatever posture you're going for is super important. So we'll apply that here. But Ilona, for the top five moves, I see that you have your arm drag thigh slice as the first move. So can you show me what you mean by that?
Yeah, this is why I need James here. Are you ready?
Yes.
This is with the step through. This is my favorite so far. But yeah, that's on it. Idea is I'm stepping behind, so I get the thigh slice there. Yeah. So again, so what should I do? Yep, slow mo. You want to turn around so show?
Not necessarily, if you want to.
Okay.
We're done. Maybe less active for you, just so you know.
Okay. drag.
Oh, huh. So, one, they may, there are some times where you can step behind and throw. But normally, at least in previous rule sets, they had said, like if you look at my last competition at 2010, I do a hip toss. I step behind and I toss the guy over the leg. So I get no point for that. And I also knew I would get no point for that. I did it anyway to disrupt the opponent's thinking. So what I'm getting at is that kind of move, um, it really depends on the judging. Oftentimes they'll want you to step, be really grounded, and then do the toss, which is, I think this is one of those rules in the Tai Chi competition, in the push hands competition, where they made it up to discourage grapplers from other styles coming in and getting their clean techniques, getting wins off of their clean techniques. Because I've heard that there were times where like Swajiao and judo guys came in, Greco-Roman guys came in and like started throwing the push hands guys around. So they're trying to make it more specific to the push hands, graceful, push hand specific skill sets. So I would not make that one of your top 5 because you may not be able to fire that. So that takes something like a weapon away from you. So is there an alternative you want to go for? And just, yeah, is there an alternative you want to go for? Because and I wouldn't call that a thigh slice either. I thought you meant the diagonal flying, which has a thigh slice in it. So
Yeah,
which is legal.
so that would be from, I've been doing it on like the same side. So if I get there, this is also, yeah,
Autumn, can I use you real quick? So this is one of the things that I really want to go over with you for diagonal flying. And I'm going to turn the camera here for those on TikTok so that you guys can see this too. So diagonal flying, I got Autumn here. And hey, my dad's there. He's my dad. All right, so here's Autumn for you guys. All right, so diagonal flying, one drilling wise, think of the entry. Well, first of all, the diagonal flying, there are multiple components, right? So first you have your the press. So for your entry, you're actually tapping. Remember, you're tapping the opponent's arm to get a bounce back. So you press it and you do it very subtly to make sure that bounce back happens. So you do it once. If you know it's going to happen again, or you do it twice, you know it's going to happen again. On that third time, second or third time, that's when you push and enter. So on the bounce up, that's when you enter across. So that's one component. That's the timing component of the to gauge your opponent. The other side is the entry with the thigh. And so this is the thigh slicer. And the thigh slicer is very similar to a Muay Thai kick mixed with a Kung Fu Mabu or horse stance. So meaning that the entry, I'll do it on Autumn for a second. Well, I'll do it on Autumn first, and then I'll do it alone so you can see the drill. So if we both have our right leg forward, the arm I'm going to go for the press is going to be the left hand. So if we both have our left leg forward, the arm I'm going to go to for the entry is going to be the right hand. So that means that I'm going to make sure that this arm bounces. One, and could you give me a little more like you're on guard? So we're playing. Just play for a second. So I'm and just play with the elbows for a second, just for what the idea we're talking about. Okay, great. Backing up a little bit. So if she's on my elbows, I'm likely. Actually, you can do this technique, but you have to press down a little bit more like this. So I'm getting that bounce 2, and my thigh slicer is not going to be as dramatic. So 1, 2, I slice in. I come in with an arm drag style underhook entry across, and the thigh slices at the same time. So it's thigh to thigh, as if you have a blade on your inner thigh. So I step in, and then I reach across. So I'm coming across and reaching up to flip her over my thigh. So and you can do that long distance, which actually works really, really well, or mid range, which is like, let's say you're pressing on the wrist, 1, two, and then you, no, opposite, 1, 2, step in, and then you get even deeper, and that gives you a little bit more of that, or give a bigger flip for the opponent. So close range it will likely get you a smaller flip. But what I'm getting at here is that for the thigh slicer part, because you had listed that, and this is one of the drills that you can do this week to start getting your conditioning up, is going to be just step into your horse stance. I'll lower the camera a little bit more. So you could just do a line drill, Shaolin style. Thank you, Ollie. So you could do a line drill and step and step. And when you do the step, you're throwing, the feeling should be pivoting on the back leg as if you're throwing a low round kick for Muay Thai. So that means that your thigh should feel, boom, you should feel that crank, and you should feel, imagine as if you have a blade on the inner thigh. It's because your inner thigh is the slicing component. So you're really exhaling boom, to that. And when you sink and sit, it should feel very, very gentle and grounded. So you just want to make sure that you're not grinding your kneecaps or slamming your foot into the ground, because those are, if you're doing those things, you're likely putting too much emphasis on, on the knee, and rather than on the thigh and the posture right at the end. So you really want to make sure that the back, you're getting your posture upright, and that the thigh is cutting right in. Yep. And you can just drill. It's just such a great drill to go over and over and over with. And then do your best to feel that drill. Exactly. Do your best to feel that drill coming into the, like, once you do it a few times, try it on James, or try it on Dad, and see how it feels to add that body mechanic. Good stuff. And for this week, you really want to, exactly like you're doing, like go right to the end and feel that, do your best to feel as much strength and beauty in your posture at that last moment before you flip James over, like going all the way to the edge, because this is one of the most dangerous throws. That it's one of my favorites, but it's also one of the most dangerous for the person receiving the throw. So yeah, awesome. Or, at least for me, it feels super dangerous. It's kind of terrifying to get thrown like this for me.
I really feel like stand tall instead of like look scared. So yeah. Okay.
Awesome. And even for James conditioning, like try that thigh slicer, like gradually increase the pressure in the technique, meaning the slice, so that you're really exhaling through that, because you know that you're, if you're doing Grandmaster William C.C. Chen style, like reverse breathing, after your entry, you're inhaling up to throw the person over the leg. So you're inflating to throw the person over the leg. So that means that your entry is your exhalation. So your exhalation, with more traditional, like color visualization breath work, you can be exhaling through, shooting through the hand, and also shooting the color visualization through the thigh. So in other words, you're emphasizing with the exhalation, the blade and the hand entry, and then inhaling to come up.
Okay.
Do whatever feels right for you, of course. But if you were already doing that, just clarifying. Nice stuff. And quick shout out to New York Sanda, Seafood David Ross in New York. That's what they're training right now. Or New York Best Kickboxing. That's another name for it. NY Best Kickboxing. So check them out. Great school. You want to learn Llama Kung Fu, great school as well. Seaver David Ross teaches that, as well as Shuaijiao and I think the National Shuaijiao Federation is like actually like that's a key space for the training now. James, do you feel warm enough to gently take a little roll?
Yes.
Okay, great. So Ilona, let's just fire a few more of those on each side. Let's do 5 more on each side, but this time like slowly go over your leg so that James can actually take the ground hit, so you can get the full expression of the posture.
Okay, so now I'm going to the other side. This is the other side.
And do you feel, how do you feel with the entry, like the bounce? That's similar to the same concept of us in fixed step before the ref calls go. It's the same concept applied live now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, the bounce to that, I feel there's a resistance going that way already.
Ilona, take a half step back. You not James, but just you. So change your range. Right now, your range is on elbow. Change your range to wrist.
But this pushback, yeah.
Yeah, because that's more realistic for your because right now when you're entering, you can do it the way you're doing it, but you're getting close to hip. You're getting close to like like hip crashing into hip, which is not bad, but you should also be able to do it from the longer range and see how it feels to get lower and chop. And really do your best to slowly put it in there and let James like slide to the ground just so you can see and feel how. Let's just experiment with that. There we go. For those who are watching, this is probably the nastiest Tai Chi move that hands down that I know. This is the move that, and I'll post the video soon. And big shout out to Cui Shou Chen, the 16-time world champ, probably the greatest player that's ever lived for Tai Chi push hands. But my one clean throw that I got on him is this move. So this is my favorite move. It's a devastating move, and it's highly strategic. It's super graceful, and it's absolutely terrifying. So it's awesome. It's diagonal flying. There's multiple interpretations of this diagonal flying move, but this one is what we worked on with Coach Josh Waitzkin and Coach Dan Caulfield on the U.S. Tai Chi push hands team under Grandmaster William C.C. Chen. So really great stuff. Nice.
First time with the food. The food and plug.
I need another guy.
We got stronger.
That's my dad, everybody.
Freehand for this one.
Yeah. Press it down. Press it down. There you go.
This volume a little louder so we can hear him. So he's in the like 200 pound weight class.
Sorry, I'm gonna go back.
Do 190, 200, floating between there. Good stuff.
I haven't warmed up pause.
I know. Okay.
Okay, so can Ilona, it's also valuable for you to take a few of them. So
Yeah.
so definitely have Dad and James toss you a bit. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger too. Let's see if it's Ilona. Pinning that. So Ilona is very much, I would consider the top female push hands competitor in the U.S. And so it's really, really awesome to be doing these sessions with her. I really think she's going to do really well in Taiwan this year. And she's been doing it for a while. She's been winning awards in the States and the U.S. competitions. Also really important to recognize that the we as a community in the States have to really uplift the have to widen the talent pool in the States, so she has more players to go against, because oftentimes you'll see her going up against the male competitors because she doesn't have necessarily as many female competitors to go against. That happens all the time in push hands, and so that really just means that we haven't made the sport as popular enough in the States, and I think there's a bunch of reasons for that, including that even when I post some of these videos, there's a bunch of people in the Tai Chi community that are like, "This isn't Tai Chi, bro." Like, there's so many different interpretations. EJ, hey man, I love you.
Love you too. How you
So good to
been?
see you, man. I've been great. EJ, everybody, that's EJ is an amazing martial artist, just like a real technician, real brilliant mind, great thinker, knows how to bridge together styles in a way that I think is really uncommon in
This is
traditional
actually one of my favorite throws that I use in sparring.
Dude, this is my favorite throw, period. Hands down.
I come in and I immediately come.
Boom.
You never seen it? I put it up quite a time. I'll send it to
Oh,
you.
please send it to me, man. I'd love to repost it and share it with my folks. I'll introduce you to the community. Actually, I do. One of my biggest videos is actually you showing a wrench clinch. I'm sorry, a wrist clinch, from
Right?
Muay Thai. Yeah, I'll share it with you. Like it's love that video.
So you can't grab with the gloves on. You can. You can grab with the gloves on. You can definitely set people up that way. I do it all the time. So.
Dude, share that video when you can, man. I love you so much. I'll be in New York soon, so I'll definitely come on by.
Now, my question with what they're doing, shouldn't they be using the arm drag to pull in? Like, James, come here for a second.
Do it, yeah.
Shouldn't I be, give me one of your arms. Should I be pulling in to then, sorry. Rewind this one. Let me give you this arm. Should I be pulling in to then come this way?
So it's not. This isn't technically not an arm drag. It's for this particular style of entry, it's not an arm drag. It's the arm drag entry, but it's not the drag itself. So
It's not the drag itself.
yeah, it's not the drag itself. So what you're doing is, while essentially you're distracting the opponent with an upper level movement that's highly timed, and then slicing their thigh with a lower level movement. So
I
they're
always use drag to cause us to meet force. So that
exactly.
force, then I could.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a 1-2, like there are several like steps to it, but there a lot of them are chained together like 1-2 1-2, meaning like bounce bounce bounce. So you go 1-2 on the bounce just to get the rhythm of the opponent, and then it's 1-2 with the slice in and the leg, the arm and the leg, and then it's 1-2 with the load up and crank over the leg. So Ilona, just do it on them slow so you can get it. 1-2 2 1 2 1-2. There we go.
Great, it felt like that.
That's what we mean by top female competitor in the States.
What? Move over away from the view. Inside.
Okay, good.
Hopefully
Hopefully EJ's warm. Hope you've been warmed up. Those are hard falls to just be taken.
Yeah, I've been here for a couple hours before they got here.
Okay. So.
Wow, that one was
That was really good, yeah.
Yeah.
You got me off the ground on that one.
And it was round.
So you should really feel like the head and the feet are replacing each other, Ilona. That's what you're really going for in your body. And DJ, thank you so much for
Cool, made a new friend. All right.
All right, so now we have what? We have that was our second move that we've talked about, but it's really the first move. Because we removed the thigh slice. So now we have one move clear for you. And yeah, if that one move is your main move, you will literally everyone's gone. In my opinion. Like you just dominate everybody. But I think you need some basic, let's say you have Tom's crank, Max's crank, arm drag, step back, hip drag. I think you need some basic like you need a jab. Like you don't have a jab right now. And I think I really do think that your jab is really going to be, well, first of all, you have to remember that the Taiwan team's drag, their arm drag is their jab. So,
my idea of my jab would be this. Can I, just because you brought it up, it's more of an uproot, and it's when I go, I get the side angle, and is that an idea? Like
cool.
What you
Cool. So let's talk about that. That is, I think you're strong enough to be able to, I think you're strong enough to be able to dominate with dominate with upper body strength. And let me call Autumn over for a second, because if you're going to do that type of, do you have a question?
I'm going to make a note so I remember to ask you later about what you were talking about yesterday and adding the press to the list.
Autumn? Let me grab her real quick.
The Anaconda press.
Hey, Autumn, if I could grab you for that.
Dominating with upper body reminded me of the...
So what I mean by that, you can do it with James too right now, but like this is a combination, and it's a really simple combination, and I'll post I'll add the there's a variation of it that we made a video on it on a 1, 2, 3 push, but I'll and I'm going to turn the camera for the folks on here. So
maybe Indy. Think Indy's coming?
Indy said next week. Mike said he's not coming, but he was invited.
Okay. We're not sure. Someone might be coming. Is there a video?
All right. Okay.
I'll open up, I guess.
Okay.
So this is like this is like a 1, 2, 3, meaning we've so if I have whatever her shoulder is facing me, if I push that shoulder, a lot of times the other shoulder will come to me, right? So you push the shoulder, it comes to you, and then when that shoulder comes to you, if you push that shoulder, you'll expose this side, meaning the shoulder blade, the scapula area under the armpit, behind the arm. So the 1, 2, 3 is shoulder, shoulder, lift through shoulder. And let me just show you from the side. Well, I'll stand with my back to the camera. Work. Do you get what I'm saying? So like, where the lead shoulder is, I push the lead shoulder to get the back shoulder to come to me. Then I push the back shoulder, and now look at my position. Look at my position right here. So I'm under the shoulder blade. So I take the hand from under the shoulder blade and I slide up with the intention of throwing her shoulder through her neck to the other shoulder. So we're pushing on the side of the T between, the T meaning the line between the shoulders through the spine. So you push one shoulder through the other to get the person to step in. Can you do it to me? You push the lead shoulder, push the other shoulder, and she comes over. So that 1, 2, 3, when you're in moving step, Ilona, when you're moving step, so much is happening. People might be playing here, and exactly. So a lot of people will start just doing these pushes. So if you're really working on footwork, and we should talk about footwork next. and you come and you might, so the difference between the video that I posted on YouTube about this combination and this variation that we'll talk about right now is that the way we just did it was pushes, like really clear, push 1, push 2 to turn, push 3 and lift. The variation is you don't lift the hands at all, meaning that the hands stay connected and you push and maybe pull a little bit, slide this hand down and lift. So you can do it with lifting your hands up, or you can do it by keeping the hands and actually just turning the opponent like a wheel. If you see from Autumn's back, I'll turn her like a wheel, like 1, 2. And that's what I mean by dominating by upper body strength, Ilona, is that if you're playing games and you can actually dominate with some upper body strength, you can give that push, gentle pull, and then push on the opposite side, gentle pull, and then pull and push, and like flip the shoulders like that. So now try it without lifting the hands at all. Keep your hands on my shoulders. Yeah. Awesome. Good for you. So 1, 2, 3. And really keep saying to yourself 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Good stuff. Yeah, sure. So so
Yeah.
how do you feel with that? How's that feel in your body?
That feels great. It feels like the perfect transition into what I was asking you about.
Yeah. It feels good. It's like getting to the outside of the elbow on the ground.
Yeah. And also now that I'm moving my feet, I can line up right along his shoulders, like you're saying.
Yeah, I so this can be done in moving step and fixed step, so it's super important. And I think that the next I'd really love to, like, the footwork. Okay, again. So there's another technique that I think is super important. It's really an approach, but you can use this. You could count this as one of your top 5, even though, like, ideally this is so ingrained that you can add something else as a direct technique for top 5. But this could be considered one of your top 5. And it's Anaconda Footwork, and Dad can show you a lot of this, So while Dad's there, definitely talk about this, and we'll go over it right now. But I'll actually just bring this. I'm going to bring this laptop over here so you can see. I'm just going to replace this laptop. So. So let's say this rug that we have over here is the ring, and Autumn and I are going to play for a second. Obviously, there's some dangerous objects around. You guys see? There we go. Okay. So Autumn and I, she's going to try to push me out of the ring, out of the square, and I'm going to do the same. Here we go. So watch my feet. Let's go. So do you see what just happened there? So essentially, like, wherever there are a few concepts, but every step I'm taking is an attempt to cut off the ring for her. So doing it again, we'll do it slowly. Is that, like, this is where personal geometry starts really coming into play, meaning that, one, you want to dominate the center of the ring, ideally. Even if you don't dominate the center of the ring, your strategy, this strategy comes into play so important, so immensely here. Because some people play to draw someone to the edge and then turn them. That may or may not be your moving step ring strategy. For me, I'm not as confident with doing that kind of stuff. I can do it, but it's not my go-to strategy. I like dominating the center of the ring and then cutting off with each step. And this is the Anaconda Footwork specifically. So there's the strategy, and then there's your baseline strategy, which is, do you want to dominate center of the ring, or do you want to bring them to the edge? if you dominate center, then you cut off every step toward the edge. So she's pushing me, she's trying to push me out. So I'm stepping around the center, I step around the center, and I look at the angle of my feet and her feet. And I do my best to step that where I cut off the ring so to make her readjust. The second she gives up some space, I step again and then she readjusts. Most people aren't really looking at the space on the floor with each step. They're oftentimes not cognizant of how every step matters. So if you have a posture, and we'll come a little closer. So we're in the 50-50 clinch right now with this movement. If you play with somebody that's trying to keep you in mid-range here, and you can still use this movement in mid-range. If you use it at mid-range, you're going to keep your static holds, as we may not have covered that, the concept of the static hold. So it's not actually a grab, but the fingers are energized and you're keeping them at bay right here. I'm keeping them at bay and I'm still using the same footwork. So here's the version with the static hold. I'm trying to move me out. So I step, cut her off, step. So I'm still stepping to cut off that ring. Another concept to add to it is the boxing concept of your front leg going towards your center line, the center line of your opponent. So my front foot, whatever that is going to cut right through the center line. It's aiming, it's part of the crosshairs. So we're here, wherever I step, my front foot is on her center line. So this is a major component too, that even if you're in the 50-50 clinch, now my center line, my front leg is cutting even more deeply through the center, through her center. So when I step, and even if I gave that up for a second, I come back and I cut it right back in. So you have similar cuts as with the thigh slicer is a cut on another angle. This is a cut forward. So you're always stepping to make sure that person feels like their footing, their spacing is being cut. Right. One more note on this is the caging. So caging is when you're dealing with an opponent who has more sophisticated footwork, then you're going to start cutting with the thigh, and similar to the thigh slicer, but using the same concepts of cutting off the ring with like that boxing footwork. So we're here, and then try to push me out. So and go super hard. So arms going harder now, and so I want to step into her thighs and cage. So the caging is me stepping into her thighs, kind of putting my knee next to her knee. So I notice that I'm stepping into her legs and I'm crashing thighs with her. And
it's on the outside like the thigh slides.
Yeah, so you're going with you don't want to crash the knee because you don't need to hurt your knees. But I'm sticking my thigh inside, my knee inside her thigh, and then I'll stick the other one outside and I'll block. And the intention is to keep on blocking where they're stepping so that it feels like, so they don't have the same type of grounded experience that you do. So it makes them more nervous, it makes their steps more controllable, and then you can start to bridge them, you can start to cut off the ring.
You just have to be careful about reaching across.
And Ilona, like one more concept on cutting off the ring is the distance behind you. So just making sure that you feel what's behind you at all times. So if you can take the center of the ring and then put the center of the ring behind you with how you're stepping. So you claim the center, step, put the center behind you, and now you're cutting with that lead leg. Maybe you switch lead legs, step around, and then if you need to, start caging their legs by stepping outside and inside of their knees with your thighs. Those are all the components. Specifically for the legs. Autumn, may I call you back real quick? Did I lose them? I think I lost them. Huh. Seems like they've gone. Let me let them know. 1 second, guys.
I'm really concerned about like the loud voice though, like from the neighbor.
Oh,
Cause like you were like literally like shouting.
okay. Well, definitely should let her know that. Oh, they're back. Okay. Okay, they're back. Lost them for a second, but they've returned.
Are double booked. So from 2 to 3, we gotta work with Jan in here, and we're gonna that you said,
Hey, can you hear me?
and I have so much more to talk to you about.
Ilona, I can hear you in a broken way. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh, you can't hear me?
I can, but it's kind of choppy, and your videos stop.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes,
Yeah, but
not great.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, I think what we should do is like, I mean, you gave us so much to digest just now. We're gonna work on it with Jan in here for the next
Okay.
hour,
Awesome.
and we'll have a meeting soon with you to
Can
keep
you-
working on. I have so many more questions.
Okay, can you see me?
Okay.
Can you see me? Okay.
Yeah, but it is choppy.
Copy. Okay.
Yeah.
Love you so much. Good training today.
Okay.
Let me know what you need.
Thank you so.
Okay. Love
Yes. So good. I'll see you.
you. Talk to
Yes.
Dad about the Anaconda Footwork. Okay. Love you. All right.